When you stop checking in, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing people who do not value you, suddenly they act like you've abandoned them. When the harsh, brutal reality is this: you've stopped needing them and realize you never needed them in the first place. In this video, I'm going to break down what really happens when you abandon most people in your life and how to stay strong when guilt and pushback eventually comes your way. If you've been made to feel guilty about standing up for yourself, walking away and more, let's make sure that you stay strong moving forward. Book a free call with me. The link's in the description below, and let's work together to build your boundaries once and for all. Everyone wants to walk away sometimes. From the wrong job, the wrong house, the wrong country, the wrong people, situation. But no one really dives deep into the psychology and the aftermath of what you go through in doing so. Now, we know the present. We know what it's like when you're putting up with their crap. We know what it's like when you're in a job environment that's toxic. We know what it's like in an environment in general that drains you, brings you down, and so on. It makes you fantasize about breakups, fantasize about quitting your job and running off to the horizon carefree without any responsibility. But most people, even if they're not toxic, if they're just difficult, negative, whatever, the moment you stop doing what I said, chasing, over-explaining, seeking validation, and so on, basically being needy, will act like you've just literally left them out into the ocean with no rubber dinghy to save them, and they're drowning without you. I know that's an exaggeration, but that's genuinely how they'll act. That's genuinely how they'll make you feel and how they'll paint the narrative. The point is, whether you're somebody relatively young in your 20s or early 30s who's starting to break independence from family, or even a dynamic that was just very controlling, or somebody a little bit older, when you recognize and realize you don't need them anymore, and the fact is you never needed them, is one of the most powerful lessons you can ever learn. Maybe you were gaslighted to believe that you needed them for financial help and you can never move out, never do this, and then you move out, you get a home, you get a mortgage, you rent, and you realize you're okay. Okay, it's not great, but you survived. Oh, well, you can't survive being single, you need to stay with me. But then you become single and actually it's okay. Oh, well, your social life will go to hell if you don't meet up with us. And actually it's more peaceful. When you stop needing these people, they feel abandoned. And the reason why is all wrapped up in manipulation. What I'm going to do in this video is help you realize and recognize the truth so you do not fall for the traps. People will guilt trip. People will lie. People will manipulate to get you back under their control. The last thing you want to do is fall into that trap. So this is all under the motivation of choosing peace. When I've walked away from any toxic dynamic, person, relationship, whatever, immediately what I seek is peace. My own version of peace. Peace for me is maybe getting a nice takeaway, putting my feet up and just resting and just listening to music or relaxing and not having a care in the world. That's my own world. That's my own peace. Peace could be anything to you. And going to sleep at night, not thinking or worrying about these people. But they guilt you for choosing peace. So you maybe didn't scream and shout. You never fight. You just step back, which is always the best way to deal with anyone, is to step back, go no contact, put up your boundaries and let things fizzle out. So your silence as a result threatens them because you're no longer controllable. I've fallen out with many friends without screaming and shouting, and people in general, by literally just pulling back. If they call, I don't answer. If they text, the same thing. If they're at an event, I won't attend. It slowly snowballs, and then eventually these people will get the message. The penny will drop and they'll say, okay, she doesn't want anything to do with me. They've abandoned me. How dare they? And they'll spiral because you can't be controlled. Guilt is their most powerful, sharpest, dangerous weapon in their arsenal. I don't want you to fall for it. If your peace bothers them, if your healing, your recovery triggers them, if your boundaries and personal space and seeking of personal space really gets to them, they never cared about you. They never loved you. They never wanted what was best for you. Only they cared about your access. They wanted access to your advice, access to your finances, access to your energy, and so on. What a waste of bloody time. Always prioritize your peace over people. Then they rewrite the story. So you become a very selfish, cold, unreachable, unrecognizable, toxic even individual. Because they need to villainize your growth to justify their stagnation or justify their bad behavior. I've seen this a lot with coaching clients and in my own experience. When the toxic partner, the narcissist, the difficult one, when they're being stood up to, not with fists, not even through arguments, but by boundaries, they'll say things like, you never loved me in the first place. You were always planning to exit. You were never ever going to do what I asked. You were never right for me. It's all a guilt trip. It's all a game. And that's rewriting the story. You're cold, you're bad. But they seem to forget all the compromise, all the energy you put in, all the conversations where they never listened, all the sort of soft but important threats when you told them to fix up and make more of an effort. Now, that doesn't matter. It is easy to make you the villain. And it's not even about their own stagnation as such. It's their own behavior. It's the fact that they are cold. They are selfish. They are disrespectful. They are toxic. They cannot be reasoned with. But it is easier for them, because of their personality, character, whatever, to just deflect and put it all on you. So let them tell their version. The real people will see through it, and you'll stop explaining yourself to the wrong people. Years ago, when I exited and walked away from a toxic relationship, the real ones in my life knew it was the right call and supported it. But the wrong people, family, friends, gaslighted me, guilt-tripped me, said you'll never meet anyone else, said you're making a big mistake, you're too old, X, Y, and Z. And I proved them all wrong. And those people will fade away, as they did for me, off into the distance, just like the people I've walked away from. Now, you also discover how much you were carrying. Once you step away and walk away, you realize how heavy those connections were. You were never loved. You were used, tolerated, leaned on too much. You were never a person. You were an accessory. You were never a family member. You were a bank loan. You were an agony aunt. You were a therapist. You were never a friend. You were just validation and attention. It's a very sad, very harsh realization, but the most important you can take, because that's why you seek peace. 9 times out of 10 people who walk away, stay away and stand up for themselves, they sleep perfectly the first night they do so because they are drained. How often do you meet with certain people, interact with certain people, and time flies by? You feel like you're floating on air. It's effortless, easy. You're smiling, you're grinning, you're laughing because they're easy, because they get you. It's an easy connection. But the opposite ages you, drains you, hurts you, genuinely makes you sick and unwell, ruins your sleep, ruins your life. So let's not romanticize this dysfunction anymore. You weren't abandoning people. You were reclaiming and saving your life. There's a very famous analogy here of what lifeguards do. And if a lifeguard comes out to see a person drowning, they'll reach down to try and save you. But if you are flailing your arms around and want to drag the, lifeguard down, then the lifeguard ruthlessly and rightly kicks away that person, because what's the point in both of them drowning? That is what this connection is like. They're pulling you down. They're dragging you to the depths of hell and despair and negativity. And it's not worth it. I'm not saying for you to kill them, obviously, God forbid. I'm saying you need to kick them and let them drown in their own misery and despair. That's not abandoning. That's saving your bloody life. And lastly, I have said this many times, and even right now, if you can't see it, even if it doesn't make any sense, the right people will show up. When you stop begging, when you stop settling, when you stop chasing, when you stop living a fake life, when you stop pretending to be someone you're not, when you stop gaslighting yourself, better people enter your life with no begging required. I was written off years ago. They said, no, never going to have a relationship again. Big mistake. He's too old. He's this, whatever. Hasn't got what it takes, whatever. And then when I stopped chasing, when I leveled up my life, when I embraced peace, when I created my own environment, entered into my life by random force, God, whatever, was the right person for me. And since then, we've had a relationship that has blossomed and improved over time and made me a better man as a result. I have lost friends. Friends have drifted off into the horizon. And yet others have entered into it. Old people that I lost contact with, who I've randomly been brought together with. Others who their circumstances have changed and they've matured and want to connect with me, and I want to connect with them. These are better people than forcing connections that are heavy, that are toxic, that are negative, that cause me pain. What you need to do is keep walking and keep clearing space. You'll never attract what you deserve by clinging on to what you've outgrown. There is an internal dialogue that you'll have with yourself, which you might ignore, might suppress, might push down constantly. But that dialogue is this: it's time to let them go. It's time to move on. You don't need this anymore. Don't get angry about it. Don't get frustrated. It's easy to do so. I've done it many times. But rather remember that word peace. Let's make peace with it. Let's accept it. They were in your life for a reason. You entertained it. You tried. You've exhausted your options. And when enough is enough, when you can't deal with it anymore, when there's no other solution, it's time to move on. And the further you walk off, the better your life becomes. You didn't abandon anyone. You didn't betray anyone. You're not toxic. You're not cold. You're not any of those things. You stopped abandoning yourself. You stopped ignoring your wants and needs. You stopped compromising. You stopped being a people pleaser and not pleasing yourself. And when that happens, that moment, that specific situation, when that penny drops, then right there is when your life finally begins. And I'm telling you, as someone talking about it from the other side, it's one hell of a life that you deserve. So if you're ready to build a life that doesn't run on approval, the wrong people, guilt trips and all this nonsense, let me help you. Let's actually build a foundation of boundaries and design a life practically that suits you better. Book a free call with me. The link's in the description below. And let's work together to get you on that path from where you are now to detached and healthy and successful as well. Remember, the truth is you didn't abandon anyone. You just stopped needing them. And this is the other thing. You probably never needed them at all in the first place.
Hey, I wanted to create this short video as a word of appreciation and a recommendation for SCG. His way of being and communicating is one of a human who listens with his whole heart, who understands the general problems that plague us as humans often, and can understand the uniqueness of the way that things are showing up for you too. I totally recommend, if you're reaching out, if you're looking into having somebody who can listen with understanding and help you kind of bring different perspectives to what you're dealing with. He's a man without judgment, but also with discernment in a cool and helpful way. I really appreciate you, SCG, and look forward to further conversations. And for sure, if you're thinking of coaching with him, try it out for sure. Reach out.
Hi everyone. I don't normally do this, but I felt compelled to do so. So after watching countless videos on YouTube regarding heartbreak, I noticed that they were all similar and just reiterated the same thing. You know, go to the gym, hang around with friends, find a hobby and all that other BS basically. And although, yeah, that's great advice, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the advice that I needed. That's when I came across SCG's videos, and straight away I felt drawn to this guy. You know, he's been through it and he's come out a new man, and I just felt I could relate to him, especially with his no bullshit approach. You know, so I thought I'd reach out to him because I'm currently myself in a dark place and I needed some direction regarding how to move on from a past relationship. SCG was great from the start. You know, he told me things I didn't want to hear but I needed to hear. And it's helped me find myself again and to move on from it all and to rebuild and to come out stronger. And the way I see it, you can't put a price on your health, especially your mental health. So if you're struggling too, especially with heartbreak, or just like I am, or anything else for that matter, then please reach out to SCG, book your free consultation, and I can assure you, you won't regret it.
Hi, my name's Tony. I had a session with SCG and I just think that it was very, very beneficial, and he helped me work through my structure and path moving forward. And I really think that if you're going through something similar or having some, separate issues, like maybe mindset issues, any of that, he could help you also.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed working with SCG, and I recommend people should work with him because I think he's great, and also I think that he's a great person as well, and his content's really good, so make sure you do your one-to-one sessions with him and he'll help you. And he's very honest and he's very empathetic, which is always good when someone is empathetic when they're helping you or something. And I wish him nothing but the best. And yeah, you should do your one-to-ones with him and make sure you book it.
This is my testimonial for my 1 hour life coaching session I had with SCG Show, who I found on YouTube. I'll be referring to the notes I have here to make sure I cover everything I want to say. I was sceptical at first as he's not the cheapest, but my concerns were immediately put to rest when he presented a step-by-step detailed breakdown of my new life plan for me to follow immediately after the call. I found SCG very relatable, non-judgmental, and his deep listening provided a safe space for me to open up with honesty. I won't lie, his direct no BS approach made me feel uncomfortable at times, but was absolutely necessary to reveal my blind spots that were holding me back to become the best version of myself. What I appreciate the most is how SCG tailored the session to my specific needs and goals. After questioning and analysing my unique background and story, I feel he over-delivered, proving his genuine passion for his clients. Regarding both my interpersonal and professional challenges, he provided insightful guidance that empowered me to take positive steps with a clear path forward in just one session. For this reason, it's easy for me to wholeheartedly recommend SCG to anyone looking to create lasting change in their life. Truly, thank you, SCG.